The question is whether I should return to Windows. I've been on both sides of the fence, and today I have a special guest with me, KB7QLT, who's going to help me debate this information.
Well, hello.
So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take you guys through what software we use in the adaptive technology community for people who have disabilities, particularly people who cannot see very well. What you see before you is JAWS for Windows, and if you want to take a look, you can go to my video called the JAWS Challenge. Very clearly, let me make this very clear. JAWS is not a movie. It is a screen reader, and you can get more information about that. But basically, this is what makes our computers talk. If you need a computer to do a job, like, well, pretty much everybody nowadays, it's pretty much ubiquitous. If you don't have a computer nowadays, you can't communicate with anyone. This is what makes your computer talk. And then, what if you're somebody like me who has some vision but not enough to effectively see the screen without getting close? That's where this comes in. This piece of software is called Magic. By the way, all the software that I show you today is going to be made by a singular manufacturer whose name is Freedom Scientific. Now, the reason I highlight them is because their name is ubiquitous with assistive technology. Pretty much almost everybody uses JAWS because the agencies seem to be affixed in that sort of a world. Let's see what else we got here. Then we have scanning and reading software, and the idea is you could put a book on a scanner and JAWS will read it to you, or if you don't have JAWS installed, OpenBook, as it's called, comes with its own built-in speech. Pretty much every Freedom Scientific product, as far as Magic Screen Magnifier, JAWS screen reading, and OpenBook scanning and reading, they all come with Eloquence, which is a speech synthesizer, which also may be known by some in the Linux community as IBM TTS. So all that runs on Windows. So does this. This is a piece of hardware called the Braille Note Apex. And for those of you who are not familiar with this technology, in layman's terms, you can think of it as a laptop for the blind. It talks to you. It runs pretty much, it's everything you would expect in a typical day-to-day organizer. You have a date book, a phone book, a calendar, an alarm clock, but you've also got things like a web browser, and this particular iteration of the product has built-in wireless. The catch is that all this equipment runs Windows. All of it. And the reason is because the people that get this type of equipment usually use it in employment. Either their employers get it, or the state rehabilitation agencies for the blind will get them. The reason is because this equipment is not cheap. What you're looking at in front of you looks like something, hey, that's only a few $100s, right? Well, how does this sound? $6,195. So that's another example of Windows-centric adaptive technology. Then there's this. This is the Victor Reader Stream. If you want to take a look at JLS1114's video on the stream, she has a very good example of this, and I have a similar product called the FlexTalk Pocket. One thing that this comes with that the Pocket does not is a piece of software that, for those of us who are not nearly as computer literate as others, they can use the software to more accurately and more conveniently organize their books, and it's like a drag-and-drop process, kind of like iTunes with the iPod. The catch? You guessed it. Runs Windows. Now, really quickly, KB7QLT, because I have no idea where we are on time, what is your take on going back to Windows for the sake of adaptive technology training?
For adaptive technology, Windows is great. The technology runs quite well. It doesn't take too much processor power. My only concern is the operating system itself. Many versions of Windows have been known to be processor intensive, just running the operating system.
And then you have all this specialized software over the top. Now, the Macintosh comes with a screen reader and a magnifier built in. The catch is when you're in a population where 75% of us, I think that's right, about 75% unemployed.
Yes.
are unemployed, you have to understand that upfront cost is a lot more important than total ownership cost, particularly if you're getting it through an agency that is not for profit and also strapped for cash. So it's a lot better just to get a $300 Windows netbook or you know, like a super cheap notebook from Walmart for about $300 than to go out and spend about $1,500 on a PC when you're already planning to spend that money on something, you know, or even more, like upwards of $5,000-6,000 on something like this. When you've already gone ahead and spent the money on that, many people can't, you know, they can't afford a computer because the advantages of this are extended battery life and more user-friendly interface for the blind. But because so few people buy this, and because it's such specialized technology, you have to expect it to be very, very expensive.
Let's not forget upfront screen reader price and all the upgrade costs.
$600 plus a few $100 monthly. But the thing is, another thing is most people that use this equipment, like I said before, they use it in the employment sector. And what do the employees use? You know, what do the employers use?
Windows.
Yep, they use Windows on some level or another. Pretty much every single department in a standard business will use Windows. The bigger businesses will use Linux for their servers. But on a clientele side, on the employee side, Windows has been the way to go for years. Bill Gates went in and practically took over the enterprise industry, and also Windows has been the easiest to hack. To quote a professor from my local university, he very seriously doubted that he didn't think the schools were ever going to go back to Mac. And I can understand, because we're in such a tight spot right now with the economy and school districts being short up for money, particularly mine especially, that we don't have the money to buy Macs unless we absolutely have to have them, like for graphics. Otherwise, if Windows will get the job done, we're doing it. But I think, you know, would you say that switching back to Windows for adaptive technology is a good idea?
Yes, there are many times when it's a good idea.
And I think that for those of us who already have Macs, just go ahead and plop Windows on it, then you can have Macintosh back you up in case Windows ever goes under. Or you could have Mac for your personal computing and Windows for your work. But I got to get going because I think we're almost out of time. Here, by the way, is a QWERTY version of the Apex. Anybody has any questions on it, feel free to email me or comment. Thank you, KB7QLT, for joining us. Insults against me will get you blocked.
Happy to join you.
And have a nice day. Thank you.